image, we do The Guardian, and the president of Cop28 says there's no science behind the demand to phase out fossil fuels. I mean, it's hard not to find that somewhat amusing, Lewis. He's the head of the Cop28 this year, and he's just going, nah.
It is. It's the Cop22 president says there's no science. But did you read the story, or do I have to? I guess you're doing the stories for me, which is good. This is the guy, Sultan Al-Jaber, or Algebra, maybe.
There's a pun joke in there.
Yeah, there's a pun joke. He's good at math, whatever. And he says the climate thing is because he's at the United Arab Emirates and
Cenotaph.
And it's all...
This is the new cenotaph. Remember you were struggling with cenotaph for a week?
Oh, yeah.
United Arab Emirates.
United Arab Emirates. And their job is to...
Close.
They make money by digging up for oil. Sure, they got Dubai, but basically, they're oil producers, and they don't want to give up the oil, and I don't want them to give up the oil. Oil is what makes Lewis Schaffer warm in his ex-council flat in Peckham. Nunhead. And
that's one of
most
the main...
people are worried about being doxed, but Lewis invites them all over.
People don't think that's one of the main uses of oil, is to keep Lewis Schaffer warm. No one talks about that.
It is. You know, we've had a huge growth of population, and people are happier and healthier, and they look great because of petrochemicals. And it's not a nick. Mm-hmm. It's not fossil fuels.
Okay.
The fuels, the whole universe is filled with petrochemicals.
Okay.
The moon of Saturn. Velikovsky. The moon of Titan, a tiny little moon which surrounds Saturn, has more petrochemicals, more hydrocarbons than all of the Earth does.
Well, I think this story just circles Saturn, but let me just bring it back for a second, because he makes a little bit of a point, this guy, and it's a strange thing to be saying in a way, but like we're pro the Saudi Arabia, but he does say, look, fossil fuels have allowed sustainable economic development. He's saying, I'm not going to get into anything that's alarmist, whereas they're saying, oh, he's a climate denier. They're not using very temperate language, and he actually sounds relatively sensible. That said, he is also chief executive of ADNOC, oil company, and it's a bit of a conflict of interest.
But those two things can be right at the same time. I mean, I think net zero is a bit of a fallacy. Quite clearly, it's a suicide mission. If you were to actually achieve net zero in the time frame that they wanted us to, at least two of us wouldn't be here, because it would kill off about 2/3 of the human population on Earth. And some would argue that that's perhaps the idea, but I don't believe that. I just think it's stupid, and there's a bunch of useful idiots that are jumping on board with it. And it's used to scare the vulnerable. It's used to scare the people that will worry about this, and it keeps the middle class kids in England busy, doesn't it?